Today's daily recap for BTG Beyond the Gates is for Wednesday, February the 11th, 2026. Wednesday, February the 11th. Well, we have Anastasia and her granddaughter, Chessie, who is just as snooty as her grandmother, actually, if not worse. If not worse, right? She, I guess, has studied abroad. And now her grandmother's bringing her back. It's like, okay, well, where your parents? Because really, it's your parents should be the ones bringing. What? Right? Anyway, Anastasia is talking all uppity and saying, look at those Duprees. Because not Nicole, Danny was having dinner or brunch celebrating with Naomi and Chelsea over Chelsea's engagement. And they were being their usual Danny happy loud self, like, oh, so happy for you. And she goes, oh, listen to them over there. And so she goes, they don't even have the true blood training. She goes, we have, you have true blood in you. You have a true pedigree and they don't. She goes, especially that Samantha Richardson. And so she goes, yeah, I heard her mother, the one that works at Orphe Jeans, that she was on the street, trashing her, right? And so she goes, see what I mean? She doesn't hold a candle to you. She says, yeah, but mom, her modeling and her representing the Chelsea Cat teen line, her following, her social media following is huge. I don't have that. And so she goes, that doesn't mean anything because that could change. And I'm thinking, oh, you guys are going to try to put some dirt out on Samantha? They really, really going to mess up everybody. So she goes, and I'm getting ready to go over. Let's go. So she goes over to the table with Danny and Naomi and Chelsea, saying, well, we can all hear, you all are celebrating something. And so Danny's like, yeah, my daughter's getting married. She goes, oh, yeah, well, and she goes, oh, well, I forget the girl's real name because her Chessie is her grandmother's little nickname, right? I think it's Francesca. I think it's Francesca. And she goes, Francesca, why you've grown up. Last time I saw you, you were a little thing. And so Anastasia says, and now she is a true young lady. She is platinum debutante material. She's gonna win this year. And Danny just looks at her. Naomi and Chelsea just look at Anastasia. And Anastasia, Danny kind of, you know how she is. She dismisses her. And she goes, oh, by the way, Danny, how is your mother? The last time I saw her here, she was looking a little peaked and green around the gills. So you might want to check on your mother. And Danny just looked at her. Yeah, be gone, right? So she and her granddaughter turn their heads up and walk away. Now, the school that the granddaughter goes to is a private school. It's not the school that Tyrell and Samantha go to. I think they go to a public school, right? Remember, Martin wanted them to be, it's a nice public school. And so does Jessica. So anyway, Danny's like, what could she be talking about? So she calls Anita just to check on her, and Anita's like, no, Danny, I'm fine. Goes, no, that Anastasia, yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with her. So anyway, Danny is telling Chelsea and Naomi that she told her, I'm here for you, Chelsea. I'm here for you as much as you want me involved. Because I forgot to mention yesterday, Madison turned down the fellowship. She's not going for a year, which means, look, her and Chelsea really gonna be broken up by summer. The only chance they had was a long distance. That's the only chance they had to stand together. So anyway, Danny says, look, I'm here for as much as you want me to be involved in your wedding. I'm not the overbearing type, you know. And she goes, no, I know you're not, Mom. She goes, plus, I heard now that you're the spokesmodel for the Tatum Stewart collection. She goes, you're not going to have much time. And Danny's smiling. She goes, but I always got time for my Chelsea Bear. So, like I said, however much you want me involved, that's as involved as I'll be. And Naomi started talking all negative, talking about, you think it starts out this way and it goes blah, blah, blah. And as she's talking, Danny's looking at her because it's like, goodness, you obviously talking about yourself and Jacob. And Chelsea is looking at her. And Danny goes, Naomi, honey, is everything okay? Is there something you need to talk to me about? Right? And she's like, no, no, Mom, it's not. I mean, no, I don't, there's nothing I need to talk to you about. I'm just trying to give her some reality, kind of ground her a bit. And Danny says, ooh, seems like you're trying to depress her. Right? She said, something to that effect, right? But anyway, Danny's thinking, something ain't right here, right? Now we have Naomi, Anita. Vernon was just flirting with her, kissing all on her, telling her, ooh, have I told you what that short hair is doing to me? Yeah, that's funny. Trying to make her feel good. And the doorbell rings. It's Samantha, Jessica, and Tyrell. And they come in, and Vernon says, oh, look, it's the grandkids. He says, but you know what? Great grands. He goes, but you know what? Me and your grand, we were kind of busy here. And Anita said, don't mind him, kids. She said, Vernon, I invited them here. Right? And he's like, oh. So she's like, let's get some debutante etiquette lessons going. The walking in heels. And she gave both the girls a set of heels. And Samantha's saying, these heels aren't high enough. They're not accentuating my legs. And Jessica's like, these heels are too high for me. I'm going to topple over and fall. So Anita works with Samantha first. Vernon shows her, how, they announce your name and blah, blah, blah. And, you have to walk in with the person, or I think you walk in yourself. I forget because I don't care. So anyway, Samantha walks forward in her heels, and Anita's like, all right, good job. And so she goes, now, Jessica, it's your turn. And the announcer, Vernon, says, announcing Jessica, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she looks she clumps, forward. And Anita says, no, 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 no. She says, no, listen. She said, Jessica, I know you have some reservations about this. And Jessica, before they started, she says, thank you for, taking the time and letting me tag along. And Anita says, no, no tag along. Your father gave me a call because your mother is away in Dubai. And she goes, I know. And she says, and he feels that you're not receiving any guidance. So he asked me if I could work with you too. So she looked at Anita like, oh. So she goes, now listen. And that's when she told her to walk forward, and she's clumping. And she says, Jessica, I need you to understand something. This is not going to be something that you make light of. This is a training for you, and it has a lot of history in it. So she gives her a good talking to about it. She says, take it seriously. She says, because if you won't take it seriously, she goes, otherwise, why are you here? She goes, because my father's making me. Right? She goes, okay, but you know what? You still have the option of just not doing it. So I need you to understand that you've got something special, Jessica. I see it, right? And now Samantha's looking like, wait, she ain't more special than me, I hope, because I really want to be a platinum debutante. She don't, right? My guess, everybody, watch. Jessica's going to end up being the platinum debutante, the one that didn't want it. Because Samantha is still a year younger than Jessica and Tyrell. Next year, watch, it'd be Samantha's year. This year, I think it's going to be Jessica's year. And we may have a little green-eyed monster, a brewing in Samantha where Jessica's concerned. So now we also have, let me see. Yeah, Anastasia tried to step to Danny. We have Bill. I fast forwarded him and Haley in the hotel room. There was nothing that looked even remotely good with those two. And actually, to tell you the truth, I've never really liked any of their love scenes, any of even their lead-ins, because if you really remember, if you think about it, they don't really show too much of them. Yeah, they'll be kissing, and there's usually going into it with the kiss, maybe the lean, and then after, ooh, boy, baby, yeah, that's what we get, right? So they're in this hotel room because remember the house is being security retrofitted, you know, cameras, the whole 9 yards, which a lot of places need to do, including the Dupree mansion. Um, but anyway, Nicole, now this is the best part. Nicole meets Kyle at Uptown. Remember at the hospital, she says, I've just seen my last patient. She goes, you wanna meet me? You wanna go somewhere? And he goes, well, wouldn't you know it? I've just seen my last one. Yeah. Where? She goes, Uptown. She goes, I'll run and change and meet you there. That woman walked into Uptown looking good. And oh, just to me, the smiling, the chemistry that those two have together. It honestly, to me, seems like they're having fun, real fun working together. It really does. The way she leans into him and, slinks all up on him and, you know, grinding her behind all in his front and everything. Nicole is getting her groove out there. Well, they're at the bar just kissing and just making out at that bar. Carlton walks in, standing there. He's looking. So he steps up to them. Well, Nicole. She turns around. Oh, Carlton, I thought you were out of town. He says, I came back early to surprise you. And I see you. He goes, I didn't know you would be on a date. So she turns to Kyle and she says, Kyle, can you go get me a drink while I catch up with Carlton. And he goes, ooh, I'll get you something sweet. And he leaves. So she turns around because even when he interrupted them kissing, she didn't go like, ooh, Carlton. She turned around, Carlton, thought you were out of town. She's my hey. She's smiling because she's like, look, I'm out on a date. And that's when he said, I didn't know you'd be out on a date. So when Kyle is gone, Carlton says, um, the last time I saw you, we had just, made love, had a real connection. I mean, the way we felt about each other. And she goes, you were the first man that I slept with since Ted, since my divorce. First man I slept with in decades. She says, and I thank you for that. But I made it clear that I am discovering myself and I am going to be seeing others. And she goes, now, if that doesn't work for you, she says, I understand. It is your choice not to want to see me again. She says, but me being, discovering myself doesn't mean we can't see each other again. But let me know. Right? And Kyle comes back with he goes, Cartoon, would you like me to get you a beer? Cartoon's like, no, I'll be leaving. Nicole's like, oh, shoot, okay. So Carlton could barely turn around and get up the step, and Nicole was back into Kyle and giggling and oh my goodness. She made that man feel this big, right? He gets to the hospital, he gets up on the nurse's station and he like slammed something down on the counter or slammed his hands down on the counter. And Shanice looks and she goes, is there something you need to talk about? Because this whole aura, what you got going here, ooh, this ain't working. So if you need to talk to me, let's talk about it. And he goes, I got back early. I wanted to surprise Nicole, but I get to Uptown and I was the one surprised. Nicole was out on a date with Dr. Fix It, you know, and she pretty much just doing her thing. And Shanice is like, yep. And they ended the scene there. And I don't think they even went back to Carlton and Shanice. See, it's just showing he's having a hard time accepting her terms. And Nicole ain't having a hard time at all saying you like it or not. And so Kyle was saying, look, let me tell you something. I've been where you at. He goes, actually, still am where you're at. He says, look, I want you to know, Nicole, I am having so much fun with you. So much. And however slow you want to take it, it's okay with me. Right? So they're kissing and oh, the music comes. She goes, well, look, let's get this on the dance floor because this is my jam. And oh, Nicole had some moves on her and just I don't know, everybody, the joy on her face as she's dancing and he's like, woo, they rolling, pushing up his sleeves and they look so good together. They really, really do. Um, I want to ask this question in the comment corner. Do you feel Nicole's having a good time, getting a groove on? Do you feel she was being genuine? Or do you feel she's trying to suppress her feelings about, her divorce? Because, see, to me, I think that woman was being genuine. I think she really looked like, look, my oldest is past his mid 30s. Martin's got to be 36, right? 35, 36. And Nicole is like, it's been 35 years and I got it and I'm keeping it and I'm working it out. I feel it's genuine with her. She's genuinely having fun. Now, for how long will she want to just have this kind of fun? It could be fleeting, but she's getting it out there. She's just, because sometimes you're like, you know what? I haven't done this in forever. So you go hog wild with it. And then you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm over that. Right? I'm over that stage. Woo. But I had some fun. I don't regret it, but it's not nothing I want to do for a long time. So anyway, I want to hear your comments. What's your take on Nicole? That's what I want to know. What is your take on Nicole? Because I tell you, she goes, you want to get out of here? And he goes, oh, shit, yeah. He follows her out of there. They obviously go to a hotel room because it's not Nicole's house, right? And they're kissing, standing up. And he goes, oh my goodness. He goes, Nicole. He says, look, slow down because you said you want to just stay in the kissing zone. She says, I think we well past the kissing zone and we in the whatever zone, she said. And he goes, are you sure about this? She goes, Kyle, stop talking. And she like pushes him against the wall again. And they both kind of bump together. I said, Nicole, goodness, you gonna bust your lip. Right? So they are just hot and heavy. And then they're on the couch. Nicole was acting like she wanted to devour that man, just eat him alive, right? That was a love scene. The love scene between Nicole and Kyle was, I'd say, a 10, 9, 10. The love scene between Nicole and Carlton was a 2. Stinking 2. Even chemistry, stinking 2. But these two here, you need to bottle that. All right. So, I mean, now that was a love scene. And I loved it. We got some love in the afternoon with Miss Nicole Dupree. So anyway, everybody, that's it. And give me your thoughts on Nicole. I want to hear what you think. Um, and I'll be back tomorrow with another daily recap of BTG, Beyond the Gates.